A jury will be allowed to see Instagram posts depicting a car running people over that were allegedly made by the driver charged with killing a woman at a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. Judge Richard Moore ruled on Thursday that prosecutors will be allowed to show jurors the two Instagram posts during the trial of 21-year-old James Alex Fields Jr., which entered its fifth day on Friday. Fields faces 10 charges for his role in the violence at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville in August 2017, including for the murder of Heather Heyer, who died when his Dodge Challenger struck a crowd. In opening arguments, Fields' attorney argued he had acted in self-defense after his car was mobbed by counter-protesters. And a variation the message, "You have the right to protest. But I'm late for work." Share this article. Share. Prosecutors argued that the images show intent, motive and state of mind in their motion requesting the admission of the memes as evidence. On Friday, Fields' trial continued with testimony from prosecution witnesses, including a photographer who captured the crash, and victims who were injured in the chaos. "I heard screeching tires and an engine revving as it sped past me up the street," photographer Ryan Kelly testified. Kelly, who now does publicity shots for a brewery, was on his last day at work for local newspaper The Daily Progress and won a Pulitzer Prize for a photograph showing one of the people launched flailing into the air. "It was faster than any car I've seen on that street. It was speeding, going directly into that crowd," Kelly said. He said he ran and began shooting photographs of the chaotic scene. He heard the sounds of thugs, screams and cries. The jury also heard from several people who suffered debilitating injuries when they were hit by Fields' car. Jean Starr Peterson said she was walking with a crowd of counter-protesters who were feeling celebratory after violent clashes between white nationalists and Antifa earlier in the day prompted police to declare the Unite the Right rally an unlawful assembly and forced the crowds to disband. "The alt-right didn't get to have a single one of their horrible hate speeches," Peterson said. She said she remembers hearing 3 bumps and realized later that 2 of the bumps were the sound of Fields' tires driving over her leg and then backing up over it. She said she saw a woman thrown into the air when she was struck by the car. "I remember seeing her eyes," Peterson said, adding that she thought to herself, "That's what someone looks like when they are dead." She later realized the woman was 32-year-old Heyer. Peterson said her right leg was crushed by the car. Since then, she has had 5 surgeries and expects to have a 6th surgery next year. She used a cane to get into the courtroom and a wheelchair to leave, assisted by a sheriff's deputy. Another counter-protester, Wednesday Bowie, said she was walking with the crowd when she saw a flash of silver out of the corner of her eye. She recalled hearing a crash, a loud booming noise, she said. She started running and then saw a car in front of her start to back up. She said she got caught on the trunk of the car, was slammed into a black truck parked nearby, and then thrown to the ground. "I remember people screaming the word medic over and over and over again, basically from every direction," she said. Bowie said her injuries included a pelvis broken in 6 places, 3 cracked vertebrae in her back, a broken tailbone and a broken orbital socket. 15 months later, she still cannot walk long distances or sit for a long period of time without being in pain. Under cross-examination, defense attorney John Hill asked Bowie about violence earlier in the day, advancing his theory that Fields feared for his safety. "The violence I saw was almost exclusively perpetuated by those who were in the park," she said, apparently referring to the white nationalists. A forensic detective also testified earlier in the morning, saying that he had found blood on the windshield of Field's Challenger that later matched to Hayer's DNA. Jurors also heard from the drivers of 2 cars that were stopped in the crowd and were struck from behind by Field's Challenger, the Daily Progress reported. Lizzie Short said she got out of her van on 4th Street to take a picture of the second group, saying it felt like a moment in history when something struck the van from behind, throwing her onto the hood. Tadrant Washington says her car was stopped by the crowd and the van in front of her. She saw the car behind her back up, and then next thing she knew she heard a bang and blacked out. Washington and her sister, Micah, who was in the car with her, filed a $3 million civil suit soon afterwards, alleging civil conspiracy, negligence and emotional distress.